Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a video on Korg style creation series and it is about the guitar mode. In this video, I'll explain how to use the guitar mode to create realistic patterns, the different options and settings in guitar mode, and how to create an intro or ending with chord changes in the guitar mode. Let us start with the variation first. We are in the style creator now. I am selecting accompaniment 1 track. The tracks are not in guitar mode by default. To make it a guitar mode track, press the menu and select Style Track Controls. Here in Track Type, change this to GTR for this track. Now this is a guitar mode track. This is a piano sound. Let me change it to a guitar sound. In guitar mode, the track will get special guitar strumming patterns, RX noises, normal melodic notes, and some control notes in it. This is a 5-octave keyboard, but with the octave transpose, we get 3 more octaves at the right side and 3 at the left side, so there can be 11 octaves in total. This picture shows the key mappings on the keyboard in guitar mode. All the 11 octaves are used in the guitar mode. The octave transpose can be done to +3 and -3. So there are 6 octaves which are hidden in a 5-octave keyboard. The octaves in the box are the default octaves on a 61 key keyboard, while the octave transpose is 0. There is a number given to each octave. This is used to identify the exact note. If you go to the Event Edit page, the note name has the octave number along with it. The leftmost octave is octave -1. The next is 0. Then comes 1, then 2, and it goes till octave 9 to the right. Without any octave transpose, the 61 key keyboard's left octave is octave 2 and the rightmost one is octave 6. When you do an octave transpose, the visible octaves are moved towards left or right based on the octave transpose value. When octave transpose is -1, this is how it would be. With -2, it will be this. When it is +3, it will be like this. The octaves -1 and 0 are used for some control notes. The next octaves, which are octave 1 and 2, have different guitar strumming patterns. Using this, we can create realistic guitar strumming patterns in the style. I am setting the octave transpose to -1. Now the left octave starts from octave 1. In the old models like VF500, 800 and 2X, the key mappings would be slightly different than the new models. Each key is assigned with a specific strumming type. This is 6 strings down strumming. This is 6 strings up strumming. This is 6 strings down mute. It mutes the sustaining notes. This is 6 strings up mute. 6 strings down mute with a body sound in it. Slow down strumming with 6 strings. 6 strings slow mute. 6 strings slow up strumming. This is 4 strings down strum. It uses only 4 strings in it. 4 strings up. These are similar to the keys C and D, but they use only 4 strings in it. 4 strings down mute and up mute. These keys mute the sustaining 4 strings. If you use 4 strings mute after playing a 6 strings pattern, the bass notes will not get muted. Now in the next octave, the keys C, D, E, F, G and A are the 6 strings of the guitar. C sharp and D sharp are mapped to the root and fifth of the chord. Here the key C doesn't have any sound. This is because the bass strings on the guitar are not used in some of the chords. In this track, I am using the default key and chord, which is C major. In guitar mode, the root, key and chord are used only for previewing the pattern, except for intro 1 and ending 1. So we can change the root and type to preview the pattern in different chords here. I am changing the root now. When the root is D, the keys C and D don't have any sound. Same for D sharp. Now we are in E. Here all the strings are played. So if you use the two lower strings in the pattern, they may not be heard in all the chords. So it is better to use the keys C sharp and D sharp instead, which points to the root and fifth. This key is all mute. It doesn't have any sound, but it is used to mute all the existing pattern sounds. The 4-string and 6-string mutes in this octave are also used to mute, but they have a strumming sound along with them. This is power chord strumming. This key has two patterns in it, one on press and one on release. They are 6 strings up and down strumming patterns. When you press, it plays the down strumming, and when you release, it plays the up strumming. It sounds the same as the keys C and D in this octave. This is the same pattern with these keys. This key has the 4 strings up and down patterns. The same pattern can be played with these keys as well. Now let me set the octave transpose to 0. These 4 octaves are normal notes. They are used for specific melodic patterns if needed. This key has an RX noise. There are 3 more octaves after this. I am changing the octave transpose to +3. Now these 3 octaves have guitar RX noises. These RX noises are coming from the sound we selected. It is not available in some sounds. There is another screen with the guitar mode settings. It shows a guitar fretboard with the selected chord shapes and positions in it. Here you can set some advanced options for the guitar mode. You can set a capo and the strings to be used in the pattern. Based on these settings and the chord root and type, the fretboard will display the chord shape here. Let's create a pattern now. That is ready. Now to make it more realistic, we can add some RX noises to it. I'm adding an RX noise to each strumming in it. Let's preview it in different chords now. Going to the element track controls page. Here we can preview the style with the chord changes. There is an option to control the level of the RX noises in this track. Go to the guitar noise tab. Here you can adjust the RX noise level using this knob. This option, Humanize Guitar, is used to create a random effect so that it sounds like a real guitarist playing it live. It is 0 by default. When you increase this value, It relaxes the quantized settings and plays the pattern with some random timing. We can make multiple guitar mode tracks in an element. I'll create one more pattern in another track. Selecting a different guitar sound. Now changing this to guitar mode. There is another option in the guitar mode. You can set a chord shape for the pattern. You can set it for the whole pattern or set different chord shapes within the same pattern. This is done by inserting a note C from the octave 0 in the patterns. The chord shape is decided with the velocity of this note. There are 90 different shapes which you can use here. That means the note C0 with velocities ranging from 1 to 90 can be used to create different chord shapes. This is a portion of the screenshot with the chord shape chart from the user manual. It is a big list, so I am not showing the full list here. We can insert it from the event edit mode. Here I need the second measure in this track to have another chord shape. I am going to the measure 2. Use the Go Measure option to make it easy. Now we need to insert the note C0 at the starting of the second bar. So I am selecting the first note in this bar and pressing insert. Now it inserted a note with the default value C4 on the same position. When we insert this control note, all the other notes after this will have the change applied to it. So if there are multiple notes on the same position which are before this control note, they will not be included in the change. So to be at a safer side, we can move this control note a few points backward. One beat here has 384 points or cents. I am changing it to 4 cents backward. Now it is 1.4.380. So it is at the end of the first measure but just before the starting of the second measure. Now the note name here is C4. We need to make it C0. We can use the data tile for changing it. But there is a shortcut. Press it and it will open the numeric pad. Here we can enter a number which will map to different keys. The keys have a number starting from 0 from the first octave. Since the octave starts from -1, the number 0 means it is C minus 1. C0 is 12 keys or half notes after that. So enter 12 here and that will be C0. Now it is C0. This note doesn't have any sound. It is just a control note. Now for the chord shape, we need to adjust the velocity of this note. The possible values are 0 to 90. Now from the second measure, the shape will change. We can see the change in the fretboard view. Now it changed at second measure and that shape is not changed back to the default again. We need the default shape at the first measure and the new shape in second measure. For fixing this, we can insert the default chord shape in the first measure. Going to the event edit page. Here we can insert the C0 note in the first measure. Now it is the second item in the list. Since it is the first measure, we cannot change the position backward. But we need to have it before the first note. For that, increment the position of the first note by 1 or 2 points and change it back to 0. Now the C4 is the first note. Changing it to C0. Setting the velocity to 1, which is a default chord shape. Now the position changes on the second measure and coming back to the default one in measure 1. It is the same chord but played with a different position on the guitar. When we create an intro or ending, it needs a chord progression to be recorded in it. How to do that in the guitar mode? This can be done in the intro one and ending one. I am copying the pattern in the accompany one track to intro one. Going to style copy. For copying to intro from a variation, we need to copy it by chord variation. Selecting V1 C1, which is chord variation 1 of variation 1 as a source, and I1 C1, which is chord variation 1 of intro 1 as a destination. I am copying only one track. Now going to intro 1. The pattern from variation 1 is here, but it has only 2 bar length. We need a 4 bar pattern in this. It is easy to duplicate this pattern now. Set the record length and CV length to 4 and press start. Now it is a 4 bar pattern. The first 2 measures are duplicated to make it 4 bars. Now we need to insert chord changes. Unlike in the other elements, in intro 1 and ending 1, the root and chord are not for preview. It is a reference chord for the pattern. I am setting it to C major, so this pattern will have a base chord as C major. The chord changes are inserted similar to the chord shapes we did earlier in the variation 1. Here we use the keys in the octave -1. The chord needs 2 values, the root and chord type. The root is decided from the note entered in the octave -1. Chord type is decided from the velocity set for the note. This list is from the user manual. It shows the different possible chord types with the velocity values. So for example, the note F-1 with a velocity of 1 means it is F major chord. If the velocity is 8, it is F minor chord. To make it D minor, we need to enter D-1 with velocity 8. We can go to the event edit mode to enter the notes. I'm going to create a progression with C major, F major, D minor, G and G7th. The change is to be made at the starting of each measure. In the fourth measure, I'll insert 2 chords, one at the start and one at the middle of the measure. Since the root and chord is set to C major, the first measure has C major by default. Now to change the second measure to F major, I'm going to the second measure, inserting a note at the start position. Now moving it a few points backward like we did with the chord shapes, making it 380. Now we need F-1 as a note. So the number to enter is 5. We need F major chord. So making the velocity to 1, which is for major chord. Now going to measure 3. Doing the same steps we did earlier. This time the chord is D minor. So entering 2 for D-1. Setting the velocity to 8. It is for minor chord. Going to measure 4. Inserting G major. Setting the velocity to 1 for major chord. Now a G7th is to be inserted at the middle of this measure. Going to the third beat in this measure. For the 7th chord, the velocity is 13. Inserting 13 here. We'll preview it now. It has the chord changes now. But there is an issue with the fourth measure. The chord change is not heard correctly. Let's go to the event edit page and check what is the issue there. Going to the fourth measure. This chord change note is after the strumming patterns. They all have the position value 4.1.000. But the chord change note should be before those strumming notes. I missed to change the position here. Now moving it a few points backward. Let's preview it now. Now it is fine. The chord changes are in the intro now. We can do the same thing in ending 1 as well, but it cannot be done in the other elements. Along with the chord changes, you can insert chord shapes as well, like we did in variation 1. You need to add the note C0 with a velocity value between 1 to 90 for it. So that's it about the guitar mode. See you in the next video. Thank you.